It's just like, what? It's just like, and he just says it with a smile on his face, like as if nothing is wrong. And it's those kind of experiences that, as a black man, you feel like a little, isolated in the workplace. But I think you were gonna make a point from that. What was the point you were gonna make from that? I see the question.
It's just as a minority of a group, women in certain environments being a minority of a group of male workers and everything else. Think about how you feel in those senses versus how they feel. When I was working for corporate and everything else, I was blessed to get an African mentor. He was an MD on my floor. And, we just having conversations, chopping it up and everything. He was very stern. He said, listen, the way that I got to my position, as soon as I stepped foot in this office, I had to put my foot on the gas. And I had to work 2 to 3 times harder than everybody else in here. And he still feels that he does not get the recognition that he should have gotten years ago.
Totally.
He recently became an MD. And like when they celebrated him, gave him a party and everything else. And I went to his office. We just had a little chat just for me to congratulate. How do you feel, man? Now you like it. He said, this is way long overdue. I'm not going to lie. And then he went into a conversation about that. I'm not going to go into the conversation. But at the same time, as a woman, I could never, speak on an experience as a woman. But at the same time, I just know for a fact.
It's all the more hard.
They have the same hurdles.
Worse. Yeah, I mean, you're a woman, and if you have if you're a certain
where
race
you're
culture.
Outside of the regular ethnic group and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's why I think corporate America is a really good microcosm of society at large, because it's these institutions that have been around for years, centuries sometimes. So there's a lot of traditional values that have not been stamped out at the core. Yeah. Right. And you can tell even from the shitty technology that they have.
Right.
Like, so there's just it's just much harder to shift the change in communities like that. And that's exactly what's going on in society in certain places. Like, that's why when you go to a startup, it feels somewhat refreshing. Like, people are wearing whatever they want to wear and all this type of stuff. But then when you go into a corporate environment, it's like, wear a tie, like, act this way, do what you need. It's
your hair, your nails, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, like in both those environments, right? In finance and startup, if you picture who you think works at that company.
Right.
Who are you picturing?
Right.
And it's society's these might not be purposeful actions on the people who are part of this, but like it definitely has an effect.
Totally.
Right? Like,
it's not by chance that they're all just wearing the same outfits. Like they're all just like everybody comes up with a t-shirt and jeans.
But
not by chance,
but you're not
right?
picturing a woman in like a pants. Like that's not who you picture.
Yeah,
right. Like,
right.
Picture some white guy who wears like Patagonia vest.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a good point.
And I work at a tech startup, and like we're trying to hire as many women, but like rightfully so, they don't necessarily want to be there. It's all guys. And like,
that's also another fact.
Whoa, wait, let's talk about that. Let's unpack that a little bit. That's a very interesting. Why so? Why do you think they want to be there?
because it's a bro-y ass environment.
Yeah, exactly. What girl wants to just be surrounded by a bunch of bros?
Wow.
Yeah, while they work.
We've slowly changed that. I'm proud of it. But like at first, I 100% like, none of us were intentionally doing this, but it happened.
Yeah,
exactly. And like you got to think too. It's like even for any of us in this room, when you can go from work to a party to a house warming, you want to see some form of representation nowadays for yourself just to feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
As a woman, if you're going to a startup filled with men and everything, it's like, you can't relate.
Too. It's like 30 people in there, 40 people.
Exactly. Right? So it's like you can't even branch out.
And sometimes in a larger thing, right? You can find some comfort in the size, and that can help. But.
Right.
But that's why all those affinity groups and everything else are made within the companies and everything else, just so that if first off, if you have to make an affinity group, it might already be tough. Yeah. Because you already see.
Damn, that's low-key facts. That's low-key facts.
Yeah. You feel me? But at the same time, representation nowadays is a real thing because not a lot of people want to kiss butt and be a shoe licker to everybody that they're surrounded by. They want to have genuine peers that understand them.
Right.
Where they're coming from, the conversation that, come on. So, I definitely feel as though, women don't feel comfortable in a lot of work environments. They might not say it, but at the same time, you can tell from their demeanor, from the things they talk about inside or out of work and everything else, they would like a little bit of a change.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I think one thing is also like before joining the group that I'm on now, it was a group of all guys, and there's been an analyst who's recently joined that group of all guys, and the conversations that I had with those guys when I was on the desk, it was like very much like conversations that guys have, and when I mean inevitably whether you're a respectful man or not, your conversation changes when a woman enters the conversation because you want to be respectful. Like there's
Right.
it's
totally.
locker room conversation for a reason, and like we do talk about certain things like whether it's hookups and stuff like that, and in many instances it's not necessarily respectful to talk about that with another woman present, and I think that's at the core the difficulty with bringing women into these environments because men are too comfortable having those conversations,
Right, and they don't even want
sometimes
that to change too.
Yeah.
Right.
a thought to be had though, because if anything, I was the same way as you. We recently, before I had gotten laid off from my group, hired a female analyst onto our group. And I wanted to make her as comfortable as possible with everybody.
Yeah.
So we didn't, at least my group was very middle-aged, but like we had a couple of young people that converse amongst each other. Why change your conversation if the conversation should not have been disrespectful to begin with?
Right.
You should be able, she should be able to join into the conversation off rip and not feel any type of way if the conversation was already tasteful to begin with.
Agreed.
Because it's a corporate setting, right?
Even if it is, we can be talking out on the
In any
street.
setting, you can hear.
You know,
it.
you
It's not different.
just don't talk. I should be able to talk to him about the same thing that if I brought your girl in,
Yeah.
we can still have that same
Still
exact
conversation,
conversation.
right.
It shouldn't have to change because it's tasteful. You're
Right.
not disrespecting the female gender, or you're not disrespecting anybody in any type of light.
Right. But you know, just to play a devil's advocate on this though,
Sure.
I feel like there is maybe there's certain conversations that are a little heavier, maybe from the male perspective, that it may not necessarily be malicious towards the other, like towards women, but
controversial.
it's controversial enough that like they shouldn't probably be part of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like girls definitely would have conversations that men can't be a part of.
Are we going off tangent?
We're pretty done. We're pretty much
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
okay.
done. All right, this is one of my biggest pet peeves.
But
If not my biggest pet peeve, and it's catcalling. Like I really just hate the fact that this is such a prominent thing in our culture, especially in New York. Like my girl can't walk anywhere without getting catcalled 4 to 5 times. Like, and I'm not that's not an exaggeration. Like she'll come home and tell me like I feel so uncomfortable walking anywhere without you because men are just consistently harping at her. And so I kind of want to get like you guys. I have another question on this, but the first question I want to ask is like, why do we think this is such an issue? Like, why is it like, I feel like that's such a 1980s, like, why is it in 2023, this is such a big deal for people that they're still disrespecting women so much to make them feel uncomfortable? It's not like even catcalling works, you know what I mean? It's like you're just whistling at a woman, making her feel uncomfortable.
Honestly.
And she's not going to come up to you and give her a number, you know what I'm saying? You're just making her feel uncomfortable. Like, why is this still a thing?
Honestly, I feel like it's just because like the guys are the type of people that do it.
Yeah.
Number one, they don't really have the upstanding or moral upbringing to like know that that's wrong. I think that's number one. And
Or if they do know it's wrong, they don't even care.
yeah,
Exactly.
or that, and then two, they don't care because it's somewhat to like an earlier thing that we played on to earlier. It's just that they just think, oh, like if it doesn't work, who cares? I'm gonna do it to the next girl, and someone else might catch on. It's like a constant game of like not really valuing to try and to make the interactions meaningful. It's more like, okay, like I'll just shoot my shot. You never know what the hell happens, because a lot of things that are commonly associated with people who do that is they say like, oh, like you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take or whatever, and they just think like, oh, like if I just keep doing it like this,
How is that a
it'll
shot,
eventually
though? It's not even a
happen.
shot.
It's not, but in their mind, they think it is, because
Yeah.
because we obviously all know way better than what like what an actual shooting your shot moment is, or what an attempt should look like versus what they think. They just think that they're doing it, and because like they have so little emotional attachment nor regard for that other person when they do it, they just think it's okay, and it's a volume game to them.
Yeah, I think it speaks a lot to just how a lot of society treats them like objects walking past. Like you're in a zoo and just seeing something go by and you
Yeah.
holler at it.
Especially with
versus
social
actually giving
media
it the
playing
respect
into
that
that.
they're-
Sorry.
Like giving them the respect they deserve and valuing forming a conversation. Right? But so many and you see this online, you see this everywhere. It stems from a deeper way that a lot of men feel about women.
Yeah. It's because like especially now in our generation, because we're like wired to objectify women, and I'm sure it's the reverse is true. I think it's a whole societal thing. Yeah. I don't think it's just a male to women thing. I think it's a societal thing.
The ones cool as shit are the ones catcall.
Yeah, totally. The same people, or people who watch toxic content online that perpetuates that. Well, okay, so does anybody else have anything to say on this? Because that's
I think it's just in a stem from adding on to what he said. Is just like we are just so wired to objectify people that they don't think of the actual consequences. I don't think it's wrong for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like they just think, this is just another 5 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 on the street or whatever. I'm gonna just shoot my shot. If it works, it works. It's a move. It's a win. Whatever. You know what I mean? But
that sucks, dude.
It's crazy.
I can't believe that's a thing.
It's a level of cowardice too, because you're never gonna see that individual again.
Yeah, and that's also why they do it, because they're like, I'm never gonna see this person again. Whatever. Let me just get my intrusive thoughts out in the street or whatever like that. And
it's such a lame-o, dude. I mean, honestly, I feel I'm so okay. Forgive me, God forgive me. I don't want to judge people and call people that names and stuff like that.
No, I mean, talk your shit, bro.
The word, you're lame.
Respectfully, you're not valid, bro. I'm not jacking. You're not valid, gang.
Nah, man, it's just it's just ridiculous.
It's because it's crazy. Because I've had friends where I've walked on the street with or whatever. We're going to get food or whatever, and someone actually catcalls them while I'm with them.
Yeah.
And it's just the craziest thing. Cause
catcall when I'm right there.
And I'm just at that point, it's you really don't be respecting people. And I've stood up and pressed people on it because it's
what are you
watch your fucking mouth, number one. It's crazy.
You got to be careful with situations like that, because a lot of times when men do things towards a girl in front of another man, they're testing the man.
Yeah,
that's high key. Because if you do something, you're egging it on, and now they have a little bit of entertainment.
I appreciate that.
Whether they want to fight you or whatever else, you have entertainment.
Nah, that's true.
If you don't egg it on, guess what? Now they get to play with your girl even more.
Yeah, I totally needed that.
So there's a lot of
it's a lose-lose situation.
Exactly.
Right.
So you just want to get out of it.
Just keep walking.
Pretty much. But the catcalling thing is very terrible, and a whole other different aspect, because I've had many friends in high school, college, or even nowadays. They would contact me. Can you walk me from the train? Can you go to this party with me because I don't feel safe, etc., etc. When you, especially at night too, just walking near a girl, I've seen women that I don't know, just walking on the street, cross the street.
Yeah, that happened to me 2 days ago.
It's in the morning. It's regular, but why? Because they fear for their their lives.
No, totally.
They fear for their lives and everything. So it's you catcalling somebody or making random noises and everything else at different times of the day. Yo, I'm frightened. I don't know what's about to happen.
Absolutely.
Plus, as a woman too, some of their physical statures or whatever else might be feeble or shorter than the male that's calling them or whatever else. How are they supposed to
praying?
Yeah, exactly. Bro. You feel defenseless. So it's all you're doing is just breaking down their mental and emotional, when all they're trying to do is just get from point A to point B.
Word, bro.
But that's the thing that really frustrates me, because I have a twin sister. All of us have whether sisters or mothers or any important women in our lives, and even regardless of that, I hate hearing these stories from friends, family members, whatever, who are females who have to endure this. And whereas we have the luxury of walking down a street or going to a club and not enduring the sexual assault that they endure, kind of, and they're kind of wired to endure, because it's so...
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. And it's just because of men who just aren't raised right, or I just haven't learned. And it's really annoying. Just learn to be a man. A true man does not disrespect or hurt people who, in their eyes, are weaker than they are, even though in most cases these women are way stronger than they will ever be, and they just they don't see it.
Yeah, honestly, bro.
Real quick before we switch topic too. Yeah. I promise you I'm not trying to pull away from advocating for women or anything else. But men also do get sexually assaulted too when they go to a lot of different places, or they do get catcalled or whatever. I'm speaking from my own personal experiences. I know that it predominantly does happen to women a lot, but at the same time, I feel as though given a platform, you should also speak out for men as well, just because, you know, I've been to many parts, I've had women growl at me, grab me, my genitals, this, that, and the third, same way, because they couldn't spit game, they couldn't just approach me or whatever else, and of course, I'd like to blame it more so on men, even though I probably shouldn't, because over the ages, men have been known to be dogs or whatever else. So maybe if you approach me on a physical aspect, women, the man might respond positively. But at the same time, I'm not done. You feel me?
Right.
You can't just, grab my whatever.
And I'm just trying to be
I think the one slight difference there, though, is while the action can be equal in both.
Yeah.
It's that, I imagine you had the physical advantage.
Yeah, no,
if that gets
right. The
right?
potential consequences are
Right?
Exactly.
But I mean, like, I get to what he's saying though, because I feel like, especially on the point where like where men have been portrayed to always have that dominant role. Like some women feel like, oh, like if they take on that stance, it's gonna appeal to the man. Like they just probably think like, oh, like this is what a man might want from a woman, like someone who's more aggressive and open with their intentions. Like, but then it's like, it's like at the end of the day, it's like misconstrued. It's like we're all just human. Like we want to be like approached in the most normal way any other person should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people just misview that because of how things have been brought on in history and shit.
And I agree with his point too, where he was saying that you do have the physical difference where you can avoid certain situations, whereas of course a man doing anything to a woman, that could be case closed, God forbid.
Yeah. There have been times I've been able to simply just physically get off.
Yeah, get off.
Right.
And I could do that with relative confidence.
Yeah.
Whereas I can totally imagine in many other situations,
a woman can't.
A woman can't.
Really
That's a
can't.
So the
fact.
consequences are very dire on the woman's side.
Yeah, God
more
forbid
than
that does
men.
happen, bro. It's crazy.
No, the consequences are not the same. However, though, I guess the point is high level. Look, both men and women, just be respectful. Like, don't catcall, don't touch people. Like, say your Q's and P's, bro. If someone is not responding to the respectful way that you're catcalling them, it means that they're not interested. Or the respectful way you're flirting with them, it means they're not interested in you, and just back the hell off. Like,
One more thing though, I do think that kind of not taking out the importance of kind of the physical aspect, like whether you can empower the other person or overpower the other person or not. It has a similar effect in that it makes you feel like you've been taken advantage of.
absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
And you can't take that away. No, of course not. But like, I just want to reiterate that, like, you can't take that away from both sides, from both experiences. So
Yeah.
No, okay, so I mean, this is great. I want to get to my next. Oh crap! It's like 2:00 on the dot. But what about situations where it's being misconstrued, or like when it's being perceived to be catcalling, or when a man is just genuinely trying to be nice, right? Is there a difference between catcalling? Is completely different. What I'm really trying to ask is there what's the respectful way to flirt with a woman? Because one of the things that I think Michael B. Jordan said that was really interesting. He said not every man who is nice to you is flirting with you. Some mothers raise their children to be a gentleman, right? So like, I mean, low-key ate with that bar, but I'm wondering, what does that practically look like for women out there to know, okay, like he's just being nice, and two, for men to know this is the way to flirt, is a way to be nice, so you're not making women feel uncomfortable.
Well, I wanna say something really quickly about this, because I think the way that women are in the U.S. is very different to the way women are other parts of the world.
Yeah.
I went to Europe this summer. I went to Italy in Puglia, and I met I felt more comfortable in approaching women at different events, because one thing I found is that, and I'm not saying this is a fault of the women in the U.S. I think it's unfortunately maybe the culture. There's a cultural difference, and that might be propagated unfortunately by American men. I mean, I don't want to say that outright, but the reactions I had from women in Europe are of genuine curiosity to find out who you are as a person, and it wasn't kind of like it wasn't off-putting for you to go up to them and be like, hey, what's up? Whereas I feel like women in the US, I found obviously it depends on the setting, but you go up to them and they put up this kind of wall at first where they're like, why are you talking to me? I'm not gonna sleep with you, kind of thing. Which I think is I definitely understand, because I know that that's unfortunately the sad reality that most women experience. But it was kind of refreshing to get that perspective where it's like, I consider myself to be respectful. Like I'm coming up to you in kind of, I mean, of course I'm coming up to you because I think you're attractive, but I'm coming up to you from the perspective where like I want to get to know you, and that's like I want to have a genuine conversation. And women in Europe, I think, are from what I saw more recipient to that.
Wow, that's a very interesting topic.
Yeah, I feel like generally, like we talked about earlier too, with like intentions. Like I feel like if you come more off rip with the intention and just be polite about it and respectful about it, and just say, hey, like yo, like just coming up to you, I think you're attractive, whatever, so and so, this, that, the third, you spit your game, you know, like I feel like that, like women would appreciate that more. Obviously, can't speak for women because I'm not one, but like I feel like that would be conceived as more appropriate or appreciated than just someone trying to be like, hey yo, like you look mad good, all this stuff that like,
right,
the third, you know.
So it's in the approach.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes off in the approach because like if you're saying that and you're trying to like would you appreciate that if some girls like saying like yo, like you look all good, all this stuff, you probably will be like startled at first, right? And you're just not even trying to like make an open conversation or just like approach it with respect. But if you are and you have real intentions to like get to know this person or meet them, then like I think your approaches means everything to it, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
So maybe what you're saying here, on top of that, is that like people in foreign countries, at least men in foreign countries, maybe are better at the approach than men in the U.S. Or is it that women in the U.S.
I think more so. I think the approach might matter less in the rest of the world than it is in America.
That was what I was trying to. That was the vice versa what I was trying to say. So does anybody here have like if you're gonna say your 2 cents on like what's the right approach to talk to a girl, and pretty much in a universal setting, right? Obviously, maybe there's gonna be differences, but like if you had like a one, like okay, this is like these are basic foundations of how you should talk to a woman for the first time to not make her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, spit some game for the fall.
Yeah. No, man. A lot of people are like thirsty out here.
A lot of guys are Rizless out here.
Yeah, Rizless. I ain't got no time.
Myself
included.
I stop. AG Fit, by the way. We're gonna put the link below. We don't think we forgot about that. Yeah. He's an influencer, a fitness.
I'm a civilian, bro.
And he's going.
I'm a civilian.
Yeah, no, we gonna put the link.
Regular civilian.
Yeah, he's over here.
Regular civilian. That too.
Hey, Larry, what you want to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think it's a combination of both. I'll try to keep it quick. I think it's a combination of both the women and the men. I feel as though in America, many women are, I don't even say taught, they're just independent and they don't really need anything from a man. So it's like when you do approach a woman, I can understand when women, they put up the guard because like, what do you want? What do you want from me?
Yeah.
I can't do for myself.
Right.
And then in comes the approach. It's like, yeah, even if you tell a girl she looks good, okay, I know that. Tell me something that I don't like.
Type.
So, you know, you still you have to come different. You can't come like the rest. You can't come onto a lot of women the same way that you would other women, or the same way other men have tried. You know? So I think one of the first things to do if you wanted to spit game or whatever else, just observe. Literally, because it's like
observe.
Yeah, no, I'm a very observant person. So it's like if I see somebody that like I'm somewhat interested in, I don't even have to be interested in you, to be honest. I could literally just like something about you. Many people would appreciate that. So the most respectful way I go about doing a lot of things, politely, might tap her shoulder or something like that. I'm sorry, excuse me, miss. Put my hand back real quick. Cause
okay.
Some girls.
Yeah. Right. Okay, you got the rope, you got the steps like that.
I like then just say, excuse me, miss. You know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you or your friends or whatever. I just wanted to let you know your shoes look real nice. Dip up. Maybe compliment her hair. I don't really care for makeup, so I'm not gonna compliment your makeup. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
But like, you know, your hair, your shoes, maybe your fit. You know, you really had that thing on. So do that. Let them say thank you, whatever else. If you want to, approach her later on in the party. Let her admire the thing or whatever else. But you don't have to sit in somebody's face and just pester her with, hey, you look good. What's your name? What's your number? That's not the. Unless like you about to be out. I'm just curious. I was gonna say I'm just curious. Let's say you catch someone on the street or like at a coffee shop or whatever. That's even easier. What?
So All right, so, okay, so tell us, man.
I was like, I need to know.
Like I said, regular civilian here.
Nah,
Give me the juice.
I'm a regular civilian.
That's cap. That's
taking
cap.
notes over
Word.
here.
Yo, let me get my notes out real quick, bro. Real
I gotta
quick.
make sure none of my followers see that.
I think I know the trick.
But I
Yo.
think it's two things. The key is you just don't want to corner them or make
Yeah.
them feel
Yeah,
like
there's
they're
no
in
Big
that
facts.
position.
Big facts.
Exactly like you were saying. Let them know you're interested, back away.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And then
They'll
let them
come
do it.
find you if they are. Maybe
Word.
they aren't.
That's true though.
That's
true though. People don't talk about it enough. They will come find you,
Yeah,
It's
bro.
just patience. It's just patience. But
But like, listen, this scenario he brought up. What about the scenario
If
he
you're
brought
like,
up?
"Girl, give her your number. Say you text me if you want to."
That is never something I never heard of. That. I never heard that.
They
before.
love that shit.
Yo, we dead got
I
time.
ain't never heard
This guy
about
got
this.
game for real. Okay.
But the thing is though, a lot of women believe that men should take initiative.
That's
So
true, that's
in
true.
you giving her the number, it's like, will she actually text you? That's the
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So that I'm just
She may
playing
not. It
devil's
may be like
advocate.
one of the hey, like not legit, but like
If she's genuinely interested, she gonna hit you up most definitely.
Yeah, but if she don't hit you, then she's not
especially
interested.
if you're in a situation where it's like they're on guard,
Okay.
right? I think that's kind of the if you had a conversation, you have reasonable.
But I
faith
feel like
this
that
is
approach
gonna
might
be a
catch
good
women
thing.
off guard in a surprising way because a lot of people are doing that. Like you mentioned, come different, right?
Right.
I feel like that's very different from what the general approach might
Yeah.
be, like you said earlier.
I
I
kind of
like
look
to
at it like
exchange information.
if I don't know them too well, I just thought they were attractive at a bar, right? Maybe it's not like, hey, can I get your number? Like they'll be
Nah.
taken aback by that.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably rightfully so,
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
right? But just kind of it's a disarming tactic in
Yeah.
some ways.
Yeah.
Just as
I think
like,
that-
I'm not
I think
gonna
what you
sit
said
there
was-
and like
was
talk
very
to you for
disarming
5
too.
minutes,
Yeah,
whether you
they
want
might-
to or not. Like
Word.
True.
So the synopsis is, so let's go wrap this up now. So the synopsis is, the best way to spit game is tap on the shoulder,
Just be polite.
tap on the shoulder, detach.
You
Yo,
ain't
you,
got
got, you gotta do some camera shit with that. You gotta,
Detach. Alright,
You
detach
got
a little
you,
bit,
got
and
you,
then
got
and
you.
tap them
then
on the shoulder.
say
sprint
one
the
nice
other
little thing.
direction.
Say one nice. Let's just walk up. You say one nice little thing, right? Whatever you're thinking genuinely about her, right?
Yeah.
And then you either walk away if you're gonna be in the same function, right? Like you're in the same function, and then if she's interested, she's gonna come back up to you.
You don't
Or
even-
you give her your number. Let's say you're not gonna see her again, right? Like
Right.
let's say you give her your number, and then that's it, right? Or what?
But sometimes
That's
you
more if you
don't.
haven't been chatting, I guess. Like
Right, exactly.
if you don't really know them too well, you don't want to.
Well, if you're chatting, it's a whole different.
Well,
realm.
yeah, you say
I'm talking about someone who's
right? At
just
the end
like
of that, you
seeing
can make a
someone.
decision. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying that you gotta run away from somebody as soon as you compliment them or anything.
Right.
Because if a girl sees you and she's interested,
You'll know
just-
immediately.
You just made the first move.
Right.
That's all you needed.
Right,
So like
right,
say you on the trains at Sudanese, I'm sorry, I really like your show. Thank you, I really like your hair. Oh, word, no, I've been trying to grow it out myself. I really like yours. You have locks. How long, when did you start growing your locks? Whole conversation
man's a pro.
can be built. Don't do that.
nah,
That's right.
I mean, you see it.
Word.
Word.
Bro, you are eloquent, but that was so quick. Like that
There's
was
a reason
so
why I
quick.
told him to give us a lesson because he
Nah,
don't give
bro,
us a
here you
lesson.
go. Nah, here you go.
I think the thing is like this is what creates a lot of nervousness amongst both men and women is that a lot of people just don't know how to have conversation.
Word.
So it's
Big
like
fact.
you don't have to like people call it spitting game or flirting. I will tell you right now, I have not with a lot of the women that I have taken interest in, I have rarely flirted with them. I'm just having a regular conversation. One of my female friends had told me one day though, she said, "You don't flirt, but your words are just too smooth for your liking." And I was like, okay, that's understandable. It is a compliment.
That's dangerous.
It
That's
is
dangerous.
dangerous.
That's
It is
It is
dangerous.
dangerous. But then it goes back to the Michael B. Jordan thing. It's like, I'm not flirting. I'm just having a regular conversation.
Word.
And the thing is, maybe you just either had a lack of genuine interest shown towards you or whatever else that with what I'm saying, it's coming off as,
Crazy. Yeah.
something crazy that's just hitting your mental.
Word.
That is true.
All I did was compliment your fit. That's it. You feel me? I didn't
in
go
fact,
too
almost
deep.
trying too hard makes it so much worse. Like
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Word.
Right.
So just
Yeah.
act like you've been here before.
This is life changing advice for a lot of people. I hope a lot of men who are struggling will see this.
Oh.
Because this can
Yo,
really
off
help.
camera, I might have to take some notes.
Nah, I
I might have to
You can
really
watch.
write some shit down.
Alright,
yo.
some stuff, you know, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Off camera though.
I'm no wizard. You feel me?
He's no wizard, bro.
Too hard to handle would have had an interesting series with you, my G.
I'm so dead. That's so funny.
I would
There's
have
too many
dead.
guys out there who try to do the perfect raise, perfect lines or whatever.
Yeah.
Most of the time, a genuine
But that-
conversation will.
Wait,
Right?
that is
Yeah.
true. That is true. Now I'm thinking about what you said. It's actually true. Most of the interactions I've had have just been straight from reg
It's also
conversation.
if you're having a regular conversation, then like you come into it with like that's how you get over the nerves because like if I'm just having a regular conversation with you,
It's like you get
there's
into
no
the swing of
consequences,
it.
Like
That you don't have any.
I'm not afraid you're gonna reject me. I'm just like we're just having a regular combo.
Exactly.
Word.
There's no finish line with your intention.
Yeah.
Right.
The finish line being an Instagram, a phone number, whatever else. No, we're just chatting.
And we're
the
taking
end
the
all
mental
be-
out of it.
Exactly. The end all be all. I go back to the party, or I
Right.
go back to my friend, or I go back doing whatever the hell I was doing in the day.
Right.
So it takes, like you said, it takes away all the pressure, but it also takes away the intent of doing something with that person. Because a lot of times, say a girl has a boyfriend or whatever. I've had many conversations with girls with boyfriends and everything else. They're like, "No, I have a boyfriend." I'm like, "I'm not even trying to. That wasn't my intent. I just, want to have a friendly conversation, or I just really thought you looked nice or whatever else." And a full-on intellectual conversation would still be had, and I still might get her information too because now we're friends, even if she has a boyfriend. It's stuff like that. You don't try too hard. Like I said, just act like you've been here.
That's facts.
Because the journey doesn't end with the phone number; it continues with the phone number because the conversation does.
Exactly. And that's why. And when you had your hypothetical, where it's like, what if you're in the run or in a rush or whatever? Say you're leaving the party, or say you're walking down the street. Damn, this might have to be like premium content. But
Okay. Oh, yo, the Wizard of Oz is speaking, right?
that is
Nah, he's speaking. He's speaking.
No, but it's the same thing. It's like, if you see somebody, like, I know I've seen people like at the end of parties. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Me and my boys are actually about to head home right now, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but is it okay if I get your information? You look real nice right now. So it's like, maybe we could continue this conversation later on. Because it's like, obviously, plus two, if you're in a party too, there's loud music and everything else. You don't want
Right.
to sit there yelling a girl's ear while the music
Nah,
is
for
going
sure.
down.
Facts.
Someone's trying to either walk to work or go to the train or whatever. I don't
Wow,
let
bro.
them know that you don't want to take up too much of your time, but at the same time, you like to get to know them more on their free time.
Wow, bro.
But you know what's key about what you said, and I think the thing that sets you apart from most, or I'm not going to say most men, but some men, is in the way that you frame it. There's either no fear or the rejection doesn't matter because it's a genuine conversation. Whereas a lot of men won't engage in that similar conversation because they're scared of the rejection aspect of it.
Oh, 100%.
Watch this. I heard somebody say that whether you approach a person or not, they're still going to remain a stranger.
True.
So it's
True.
like, it's either you
Yeah.
don't approach them and they're still a stranger, or you approach them 50-50 chance that they stay a stranger, or now you have a new
100% chance you don't take
connection.
it.
Exactly.
Right.
Just
Word.
watch how you do it. That's all it is.
Word.
Exactly.
And
No
don't be like,
catcall.
don't be cat.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
Right.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
catcall.
Catcall.
Yeah.
Like,
Be respectful.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what noise I make. I ain't gonna hold you.
Word.
Moo.
Make
No, bro. Wait, no, I was like, I was wait. Wait, I hope the mic got like a very fine,
oh my
like
fucking
fine-tuned
God.
sound of that.
He says everything when I'm not looking at him, so it's just
It just got out of nowhere, right? All right, bro. Okay.
Yeah, that should
It's
come.
it's
Yeah,
it's
let's be out.
2:15. Whoa, it's 2:15. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Look, this has been an amazing episode. Right before we wrap up, just want to say shout out How to Be Intelligent Without Being Stupid. This was a book written by Chike Onya. That would be me. Just kidding. It's my dad. It's my father. He is a great guy. And this book is called How to Be Intelligent Without Being Stupid. Super interesting. A lot of stuff in here that can change the way that you think about relationships. It can change the way you think about values in life. It changes the way that you approach day-to-day scenarios. What he's really trying to say here is that you can be an intelligent person, you can be intellectual, but you can be stupid at the same time, right? With the way that you act, with the way that you treat people, right? And so there needs to be that connection between the intellect and your heart and your mind and your emotions. All right. So great book. You can find it on Amazon. Go get it today. With that being said, how we typically end the show is everybody just gives like one piece of advice to the audience out there. If there's one thing that you just want to know the audience, or if you want the audience to know about relationships and, one takeaway that they can have from this conversation or in life in general, please go ahead. We'll start with Larry.
Be respectful. I think that's just the number one thing. No matter if it's platonic or, sexual or romantic, just be respectful with everything that you do. Your approach, how you speak to people, your actions towards people, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. I think 100% agree with that, as well as, I'd say, have conversations. Talking and conversing about complicated topics like this generally solves a lot of big things.
Right. Wow. I agree.
Yeah, I think probably similarly to what Larry said, I think honestly, just come correct or don't come at all. Because going back to the topic of paying for the first date or how to approach a girl, not catcalling, all these things, they're all just really different mediums or examples of just straight up coming correct. You know what I mean? We all, I think we have so much access to information and opportunities to really learn how to come correct properly and be better as men in today's society. I feel like there's just no excuse for the stuff that's going on these days, So it's either just come correct or don't come at all.
Yeah, also take time to learn about who you are, grow as a person internally before you engage in these relationships, and find somebody who will contribute to that growth. Don't find somebody who kind of puts you down in both for both men and women. Just make sure you find that right person and take time to look for that person because that's important.
This is awesome, guys. This has been a great episode. We talked about so much. I just want to echo everything that everybody said. The number one thing here I've taken away is respect. Be respectful. If you don't know what that means, go search it up, bro. Go ask someone that that is well liked, right? Just get some advice, right? Rewatch this if you have to, man. We talked a lot about how to be respectful to women. He gives a lot of game on how to spit game. You know what I'm saying? And everybody added a lot. Hey, Wizard of Oz over here gave you a lot to work with. So please rewatch it.
I know that for a fact.
Rewatch it. That's how to be respectful. Okay, women deserve it. So please do it. Thank you. All right, this has been Wild D here again with another episode of Relationship Status. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for watching.
Peace out, yo.